Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Mpho Nawa. For the first time in the history of parliamentary politics, SALGA, the South African Local Government Association, was allowed time to address the National Assembly as part of the debate of the State of the Nation address of President Jacob Zuma. SALGA was represented by its chairperson, Cllr Mpho Nawa, who is also the executive mayor of the West Rand District Council. My guest today is the councillor himself. Councillor, are you still the chairperson?
Well, I'm the deputy chairperson.
You're deputy chairperson?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sorry about that. But welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Indeed, it was history that SALGA for the very first time was allowed time to speak at the National Assembly. Yes,
I'm sure the entire NCOP, National Council of Provinces, were allowed to speak for the first time. Yeah. So we came in there as the local government under the umbrella of NCOP.
Okay. How did it feel? I'm not talking about the mood there, but I mean the fact that you are now making history in as far as parliamentary politics is concerned.
Well, I think it's for us, it was a great opportunity to be allowed to be part of the entire government system. Normally, municipalities are not seen as part of the government or local government. Mm. So to be allowed to participate into, it was an important thing for the president even to mention that local government is present in the chamber.
Okay. And what is SALGA's view?
Well, in general, we think the president was okay to pay a specific attention to local government. Even to profile municipalities that are performing, because there's a general narrative that is dominant that local government is doom and gloom in South Africa. But for the fact that the president was able to rekindle that there's hope, there's movement, there's improvement since where we started in 2000 and where we are today, local government is improving in South Africa. And therefore there are very good example municipalities that are doing well to deliver services.
We'll come to those, but what is at the center of poor performance at municipalities?
Well, I think the central issue here it would be leadership issues, both administratively and politically in some cases. People who are not competent to lead, people who are coming to municipalities over political conflicts, so that collapses and paralyzes the functionality of municipalities. So the essence of what SALGA is doing is to advocate that we provide support to municipalities and ensure that we target and improve the skills of those who are working in municipalities.
This project or program which was launched by SALGA, the Senior Management Induction Program, yes. What was it about?
Well, the purpose of that program was also to support and ensure that there's commonness across the whole system about skills that are required, but to ensure that the managers do what they're supposed to do, which is to manage, not to move away from politics. So the essence is to ensure that we improve the skills of municipalities. You would know that National Treasury has started competency levels that we should build into municipalities. And part of SALGA is to support that program to ensure that everybody understands what is required from themselves.
Okay. And I asked one question here as to what is it going to take to revitalize local government, the sphere itself?
Well, firstly, I think we should appreciate that both provincial and national government must come on board. We should align government to work as one in South Africa. And so the first thing that all of us have the same constituency. So national and provincial government must come support local government. But again, we do want South Africans to appreciate that they must be part of local governance. Most of the time we find that the people that we lead are distanced from the interests and they come for specific individual problems and not for the common good. So one thing that could change the perceptions about local government is that communities must be part of governance. And those who are governing must allow them to come in for them to be part of governance. So participation is very important. But again, we should build capacity in municipalities this issue about skills and knowledge that would need to carry us forward as the way we would lead government is important. And I'm sure what we are emphasizing as SALGA is that skills and capacity in the municipalities are very important. We have a problem that in rural municipalities and villages, skills are not there. But we have taken a view that we are going to give support to all municipalities and invite both provincial and national government to be part of the program.
Is it not because of this cadre deployment policy that there are challenges of skills at local level?
Well, not really. Well, in some cases, you find those cases where people are deployed without necessary skills. But that can be a general statement that everywhere people are employed as such. And that narrative is getting dominant, that people say it's because we have deployed people who are not qualified. So the sense is that there's a deficiency generally into the systems about skills. Local government is relatively new. It's 14 years old and is evolving. So the point is that we should build capacity year in, year out, and universities must respond to help us build a capacity for local government.
But how do they do so when comrades feel entitled to certain positions? I mean, it's a very sad story that in provinces like KZN, you still find, sporadic cases of violence against councillors. And, at the heart of it is comrades fighting each other over those seats.
Well, again, we can't be too general about it. But it's true that there are cases where political infighting affects governance. And every time when there's political paralysis, it cascades down itself to governance. And you find that the entire governance get paralyzed because of what is happening outside the system. People report outside the government. But that's an issue that the ruling party has taken a view to settle it. And I know for a fact that I read their literature and that they will have to confront that problem head on.
Okay.
But generally, you get that the system is maturing. And the system is coming up to respond to the current problems.
Okay. I want us to take a quick break. When we return, we'll look at some of this, the submissions that you made to the National Assembly, the successes of the metros and the challenges and intergovernmental support for local government. But we're going to take a quick break. Please don't go away. We'll return shortly. Do you hate white people?
Not at all. Some of my best friends are white.
But you can't be complaining about the money spent. You're benefiting.
No, I'm not.
You're paid.
No, I'm not at all.
Are you not paid?
And in any event, firstly, it's none of your business. Secondly, I get paid what I'm worth, and I think I'm worth what I've been paid.
Watch Question Time with me, Mpho Nawa, Monday to Thursday at 5:30 p.m. on the SABC News Channel.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. My guest today is Cllr Mpho Nawa. He's the Deputy Chairperson of SALGA. Now, Councillor, welcome back. In your submission, you referred to the successes of the metros. I want you to let's pick the Joburg Metro, for instance. There's so much which people are complaining about, yet SALGA has so much to celebrate.
Well, truly, Johannesburg Metro has done so much in changing the livelihood of the people. And I want to draw you to Soweto. I mean, they've turned that whole, historically an apartheid township, to be a place where people could settle. And they've done so much to get even the BRT buses, people get transported better. There's a new physical infrastructure, social infrastructure. You could actually go think of buying a house in Soweto by virtue of how Johannesburg has played itself out inside there. So the municipality has turned around the whole project of Soweto, and we want to think that's a good way to profile that what can municipality do if it's in charge. So we appreciate what, as SALGA, we think that that's a good example to show that if municipalities are focused, they can change the space for good. And I think Soweto is a good example. So we refer to it in the parliament that look at how Soweto has changed over a period of 10 years. It is a changed place altogether.
And Durban?
Well, eThekwini, you would also know that it's one of the best recognized in waste management, and it's one of the accolades, international accolades. It is awarded one of the best cities in the world in how they manage their water management and waste management.
Okay. But then, surely there are challenges, and the president himself referred to those, you know. I just want you to, you know, be frank with South Africans and say, this is where we are failing, or this is where we feel that we are not doing our best as municipalities.
Well, one part that we think we should still push the municipalities to do is to spend their budget. Expenditure is very important. We still fall short of municipalities not spending their budget to the full. And that has come out in the Auditor General's report year after year, that with the performance at that level. And that is linked to the whole story of the capacity, that there is a need that municipalities must plan better. So planning remains to be a problem, and I'm sure with a new minister, Minister Pravin Gordhan, we hope that they will push together to ensure that we deliver better. We are also inviting the other capacities from the national and provincial government to help municipalities to do better. So we are all on course. One issue that we also should not overlook is the fact that global economic crisis has also affected communities to a point that we're unable to get people pay for their services. And there are towns where totally there is no payment, and the municipalities are still have to struggle to respond to providing services. And you know that if I'm to take the district where I come from, the beggar style problems.
Yes.
The informal settlement has grown far bigger than the formal beggar style. And it's an indigent.
So Simunya is not coping?
Well, you can't cope. People are indigent. So we had to now get money to fund. So we take money from the equitable shore to fund service delivery. So one of the calls that we're making is to profile local government, but to ensure that people pay for their services so the municipalities can run better. The point I made earlier was that it will be good that communities, different sectors of community take interest in being part of municipal governance. And they can get to know how budgets are developed, so that you don't just say money or there's corruption and there's no facts.
Actually, you know, I want to understand, why do municipalities fail to get the majority of the people on board during IDPs?
As said, well, you would know that people are called to meetings, and I think municipalities do their best to put it in newspapers. You put it in radio that please let's come and attend the meetings, and very few people attend. But we have started other ways of communicating to people, to invite people to participate in municipalities. So other municipalities are successful in dealing with that, but others are still struggling to get people to participate. But I think that this protest also creates an opportunity for us to explain what needs to happen. And then some people are responding. But the point that I earlier raised was also about leadership. part of the thing that we are saying to ward councillors, in particular ward committees, is to ensure that they represent sectors and their sectors are part of the meeting. So inputs come from different community organs that can be able to engage the municipality.
The eradication of the bucket system and open toilet challenges. This is one of the points that were addressed by the president in his State of the Nation, and he specifically pulled out Mqaka local municipality in the Free State. I would suppose that as SALGA, you are faced by this challenge, nationally. It's not like it's a Mqaka, confined problem. Is this going to happen?
Well, truly it's going to happen. Just before, we had a long meeting with the new minister, and we have identified all problems and challenges that we have a schedule that we're going to create to respond to all these problems. So the president was fully informed that we are on course to ensure that we change all these problems and make municipalities to work better.
Okay. And perhaps one other point which one needs to raise is the challenges which, you're supposed to address, and intergovernmental support for local government. You spoke about that in Parliament.
Yes.
Just talk us through that.
Well, you would know that by South African law, the government is divided into three spheres: local government, provincial government, and national government. Distinct but also interdependent. And we are of view that historically SALGA or perhaps local government has been almost aloof from the two spheres. The first appreciation that for the president is to allow us to raise local government issues in Parliament. For the last 2 seasons, we have had an opportunity to organize local government week in Parliament and to bring forward the challenges that are facing local government. And the response of both the NCOP and the National Assembly has been very profound in how they have interacted with us. Okay. And that has allowed that the president could actually, or we should be allowed to come in and raise the matter. So intergovernmental relations is critical to make municipalities to work better.
Okay. When we return after the break, let's talk about the challenges around urbanization and perhaps some service delivery protests there. Okay. We're going to take a quick break. Please don't go away.
Storms have affected several hundred families in low-lying areas on the Cape Flats. Disaster management remains on high alert. Residents have not yet been evacuated.
The area is prone to flooding and residents are weary.
Evicted Lwandle residents near Strand in Cape Town will spend another night in community halls.
They come with sticks here and all that other stuff. So what is going to happen to our children, to the people in the morning who's coming to the bus stop? Huh?
Primetime News, daily at 6 p.m. on SABC News.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. My guest today is the Deputy Chairperson of SALGA, Cllr Mpho Nawa. Now, Councillor, the President then says, and I'm quoting him here, South Africa is becoming an urban country. By 2011, almost 63% of our population were residing in towns and cities, and this trend is expected to continue over the coming decade. Our government's integrated urban development framework will be finalized by 30 July 2014. This is just a framework. Currently, what's the state of affairs?
Well, perhaps let's first reinforce what the President said, that 63% of South Africans are found in urban areas. And these urban cities and towns provide an important opportunity for economic development, so they have a role to ensure that the country economic development is better off. Now, that's important that we appreciate that we are moving this way. The problem that we have had is fragmentation. There was no proper plan to urbanize. So you may find that the private sector runs the show because of development and government is left behind. So planning is important. And this urban development must therefore be planned and know what's going to happen where. Countries that have a long planning schedules like China, they have a controlled development. So you don't get fragmentations everywhere and people developing in different spaces. So the President is responding to that there's a need to finalize the framework so that all of us can work within that and be able to ensure that we can know that what's going to happen in 2030 in a particular space. So urban development is very critical.
But you see, urbanization, it's going to continue. I think, I'm not sure if we'll ever be able to reach a point where we would say we've arrested the challenges that are created by urbanization, and therefore we look at something else. Because people are moving from wherever they are residing to come and look for a better life.
Yes.
In all these urban areas. How do you send a message to say, look, there's no need for you to come to an urban area, yet the services that they are looking for are not found in their municipalities there at all?
Well, you can't control them. I mean, people, as you say, they move, and it's a historical thing that people move where there are greener pastures. So the planning is important so that you can know what's going to happen. If you were to take Gauteng, for instance, and say every year you build a school, okay, so annually you build a school, and next year the population of a student is more than what you have built. You then have to plan how do you cater for them in advance. So the point of urban planning is that plan to ensure that those problems that can come to you, if there are challenges that you must, if there are service delivery issues that you must provide them in advance, have a plan for them.
Okay.
They must not catch you unaware that you are not going to be able to deliver when people are already here. So urban planning is very important. But I also think it's important to indicate that we are also representing rural municipalities.
Yes.
So issue of rural development is something that we take very serious. We also represent village municipalities. We also want to ensure that they also get the same service provisions. Councillors
like Joshua Matlo doing enough in an organization that is led by councillors like Mpho Nawa to ensure that the course of those rural and village municipalities is heard.
Yes. Well, we are satisfied with Matlo. Recently, they were launching a water project. So we think they're doing their best to ensure that in those rural municipalities, people can survive. People have access to government services. And that for us is important, that rural development is important. And I'm sure that's why the cabinet has established a ministry that is focused on rural development. And if they work very close with municipalities, surely we would have better rural places. One thing that we also want to adjust in the understanding of development is not to think long buildings are the one that represent. We should be able to allocate our people right development in where they are. And that's why you don't want to take a township to a village, but adjust them to survive in the space where they are and have our government access properly.
Okay. One subject which has dominated the headlines, service delivery protests. You've had your fair share. I mean, leading to the elections, you've developed some grey hair as a result.
Of the problems in Bakersdale.
Yeah.
Well, everywhere in the Western.
Yeah. Just talk to us about that.
Well, I think the point that you made earlier on, that sometimes it's political infighting, and sometimes the problems are genuine. And I would have made a point that if you are to look at the Bakersdale situation, the informal Bakersdale has grown. What is the problem? Mine have started to share jobs, and people don't go back home. They settle where they were working. And therefore, municipalities must respond to those challenges of that people are here. We need to provide water, we need to provide electricity, we need to provide basic services to them. So the key issue that we are doing is to see how do we respond. And over a period, there's eruptions. And where there are genuine issues of service delivery, and you also know that the old infrastructure that we should respond to, municipalities are not as rich as their small municipalities are not functional. The approach that we have developed in the West Rand is that the best way to deal with that problem is to merge municipalities and take advantage of economics of scales and show that we can be able to respond to service delivery. We think many municipalities are non-viable and non-functional. So the best way is and we've started a process moving to 2016 that how do we respond to that. The demarcation board has agreed to merge the two, and we hope that we can do better after that.
I'm sure some councillors are not going to be very happy because they would have to lose their jobs.
Well, if you plan for the future, you don't plan for yourself. You plan for the future. So we have to understand that the best way to change the apartheid landscape is to really create a new democratic states and towns.
Cllr Mpho Nawa, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my brother. I appreciate it.
That was question time for today. A big thank you to my guests and to you for watching the show. We welcome your feedback via email on questiontime@sabc.co.za, or you can tweet us. Our Twitter handle is @questiontime24. From me and the rest of the crew, have yourself a wonderful time. Goodbye.